Have you ever seen the writing on the wall so clearly that you can practically touch it? For one Toronto Maple Leafs veteran, the end of the road in blue and white seems all but inevitable. But just as one door closes, could a shocking, high-risk, high-reward door be creaking open for a former superstar looking for a second chance? Welcome back to the channel, Leafs Nation. The preseason is in full swing, and while we're watching the on-ice battles, the biggest moves are happening behind the scenes. Today, we're diving into two massive rumors that are directly connected, painting a picture of a dramatic potential overhaul for the Leafs' bottom six. It's a story of one player out and another very unexpected player potentially in. Let's start with the inevitable. The days for David Kampf in a Maple Leafs uniform appear to be numbered. For the past few seasons, Kampf has been exactly what he was paid to be, a solid, reliable, fourth-line defensive specialist. But the ground has shifted dramatically beneath his feet. In a recent, incredibly candid interview with Jonas Siegel of The Athletic, Kampf himself admitted he was anticipating a trade all summer long. He said, "I was thinking a trade. For sure, I was ready for whatever could happen, but nothing happened. So I'm here and I'm ready to show my best." That's the sound of a professional who knows the business of hockey is catching up to him. The reasons for this are a brutal 1-2 punch. First, the acquisition of Scott Laughton effectively made Kampf redundant. Laughton was brought in to be the team's fourth-line center and a key penalty killer, precisely the roles that Kampf had mastered. The second punch is a meteoric rise of prospect Easton Cowan, who is waging an undeniable campaign for an NHL roster spot, making the competition for those final forward positions an absolute dogfight. The biggest hurdle in finding a new home for Kampf is his contract. At $2.4 million for this season and next, trading him is a difficult proposition in a flat cap league. This leads to the most likely and perhaps harshest outcome. Siegel speculates that the Leafs management might believe they can place Kampf on waivers and have him go unclaimed due to his contract. He would then be assigned to the Toronto Marlies. For the Leafs, it's a clean solution. For Kampf, it's a tough pill to swallow. But while the Leafs are seemingly trying to figure out how to subtract a center from their roster, a shocking report from Russia suggests they might be looking to add one. Evgeny Kuznetsov, the supremely skilled but controversial former Capital star, is still an unrestricted free agent, and he's been linked to multiple teams. According to a report from Daria Tabotseva of RG.org, Kuznetsov is now specifically waiting on the Toronto Maple Leafs to make a decision on whether or not they will sign him. At first glance, this makes absolutely no sense. The Leafs are overloaded with forwards. Why would they even consider adding another? The answer lies in the massive potential for an upgrade. While the team is crowded with bottom six options, none of them possess the high-end offensive ceiling of Kuznetsov. Even a reclamation project version of QZ could potentially be a dynamic third-line center, a playmaker who could transform the offensive identity of that line. He's a former Stanley Cup champion who has flirted with 100 points. Signing him to a cheap one-year prove-it deal is the definition of a low-risk, high-reward gamble. Now, let's connect the dots, because these two rumors are not happening in a vacuum. The potential departure of David Kampf is the key that could unlock the door for Evgeny Kuznetsov. If Kampf is successfully moved, either by trade or by clearing waivers, it does two crucial things. It opens up a roster spot, and more importantly, it clears $2.4 million in cap space. That cleared salary is almost the exact amount one would expect a player like Kuznetsov to command on a one-year comeback contract. This might not be two separate rumors, but rather two halves of a single, calculated plan by Brad Treliving to swap out defensive reliability for elite offensive potential in his middle six. Nothing is set in stone, but the logic is compelling. The bottom six of this team is about to undergo a significant change. A loyal soldier in David Kampf appears to be on his way out, a casualty of a roster crunch. And in his place could come one of the most intriguing wild cards on the free agent market. It's a move that would signal a clear shift in philosophy, prioritizing offensive firepower throughout the lineup. This is a classic GM's dilemma, playing out in real time. What would you do? Do you stick with the defensive stability of a guy like Kampf, or do you take a massive swing on the raw, unpredictable talent of Evgeny Kuznetsov? And if you want to stay on top, let me know your choice in the comments below. Make sure you hit that like button.